Welcome to the review of our, 59-point win against the Gold Coast Suns yesterday at the MCG, set up by a blistering second quarter where we kicked 9 goals and dominated the game out of the middle. I am indifferent. In the preview of this game, I almost, and not that the Gold Coast Suns would have been listening to this old prick, but I, as a Carlton fan, wanted them to, the Suns that is, bring their absolute best. And that is, no, they're not a great team, but I begged them to challenge us because I really want to find out about this football team of ours. I really want to find out about this club of ours. And I was so afraid that this would happen. And they started okay. You know, they were winning the clearances early in the contest, but our energy and effort wasn't too bad early in that game. I think our pressure was right up. But that fucking mob rolled over at quarter time. They rolled over. And was that a confidence booster for our football team? 59-point win and a demolition of an insipid and weak-hearted football team and club, which is the Gold Coast Suns, and not a lot dissimilar to us, really. At times. And I don't leave that game yesterday thinking, look at us, we're far superior to the Gold Coast Suns. So I don't know. I do know how I'm feeling. I'm not feeling a hell of a lot about that win at all, because this is in such isolation, this win, and we had to win eventually. It had to turned around at some stage, as in getting the W. But it's impossible not to ignore what has passed and not look in the rear vision mirror here, and also not look into the future now. But I am not one bit excited about this win. I will go through shortly the positives, okay, and they're all around individuals. And this, don't get me wrong, our energy was good, our tackling was good, our contest was work after quarter time good. We had some good run from half back, some springboard, thought we defended okay, intercept grabs, ball use after quarter time, not too bad. So there was little or no pressure or heat on the Gold Coast Suns in this game of football. And who are we it's sort of sad at the moment that we're in round 14 and we're benchmarking ourselves against the Gold Coast Suns. We knew that I knew this would fucking happen with them. I just knew they would 2 games in Darwin and some big wins coming off the bye, cold in Melbourne. They just knew. This just fucking knew they would dish up that shit. So when it's really mattered in games over the last 8 or so weeks, 9 weeks, whatever it's been, when the heat was really on in games of football, when our team and our leaders really needed to stand for something and rise in critical moments or critical periods in games, we have failed dismally. And I mean failed dismally. And Voss has mentioned it in his press conferences, and I didn't even listen to yesterday's. I just couldn't be bothered. Against the better teams, the teams that are in front of us, and I'm not talking about the Gold Coast Suns, but the teams that are in the 8, in the 8, those big games, needed to really get our season going. Because this is the year where we were supposed to be benchmarking ourselves against the best. And you're not going to win every game. First quarter against Adelaide, third quarter against the Saints, third quarter against Brisbane, final term against the Dogs. Pretty much the whole game against Collingwood, particularly the first half. Final quarter in Sydney on a Friday night against the struggling Swans who brought the fucking heat. First quarter against Melbourne, who were battling at that stage, So are we, and that I think what will be the pivotal moment and the symbolic moment, the third quarter against Essendon last week. And some will say, oh, okay, we did the same against the Gold Coast Suns. You know, they started okay and we came out and blew them away in the second quarter. Yeah, you can mount that argument. But I'm not believing yesterday was a turning point for us at all. And how could you? How could you? There were some fine individual performances yesterday. There were some really good signs from some players who I think potentially could be really good footballers for our club moving forward. But yeah, like always with these players, the jury will be out until you get some real consistency, and they're still early in their AFL career. But our really good players stepped up, particularly in that midfield. Did they get their mojo back? Don't know, because they didn't have a lot of pressure or heat applied to them. Did it all suddenly just click yesterday? We're not going to know, guy. We're actually not going to know what this game represents or what it means at all, because it was such a shit show by the Gold Coast Suns that it reminded me somewhat of the West Coast Eagles game. It does show you when the heat is off that we are very, very capable. Very capable. So that's interesting in itself, because there's been a lot of rhetoric lately about maybe the list isn't good enough. You know, it's a failed rebuild, as in it's failed. You know, these guys aren't good enough. Well, I've always said, and I'll continue to say this can be turned around, not necessarily just by methods and systems, but by what's in this fucking head here of these players and the mental side of the game. And if that is huge on the coach. If this is a turning point, okay, and we storm home this year, and we start knocking over Collingwood and some of those top teams in this final part of this season, this is on Michael Voss. This is on him. This is on coaching. But we've just seen this sort of shit so much before early start of last year, and when things go our way, we play with excitement and energy, and we go along for the ride. And I mean, once we got on top of the Gold Coast, they were never coming back. It wasn't like we were playing a Collingwood or a team that would, show some fucking fight. So I'm not, other than looking at this game and going, it's a win. Does it keep us alive? I haven't even looked at the numbers in regards to what it looks like moving forward. How many we need to win to keep our season alive, so to speak. But I need more, and a hell of a lot more than that. And of course, the players need that. The coach needs that. They need that win. They need that. But I didn't need that as a supporter. I didn't need that. I need a hell of a lot more than that, because, as I mentioned before at the start of this review, this year was about benchmarking ourselves against the best, and we've failed with that. But we've still got a tiny window. Still got a tiny window to see if this team is made up of actual substance. Because that wasn't a win of substance yesterday. And I don't think we've had a win of substance. It doesn't feel like we have. Maybe the pressure's off a little bit and they can storm home and they can feel good about themselves. I did notice yesterday they were up and about. They almost like it was a bit of a copycat version of the way Colin would go about it. Just a few smiles, enjoying themselves. Up and about on the bench. Let's have a look. I mean, that second quarter. I mean, that was out of the world, really. It was just. I mean, we've played like that before, though. We've had quarters where we've just fucking dominated clearances, and they just didn't put any work into our playmakers in there. And maybe they just didn't have the tools to do that. And they are such a contest-based football team that they just didn't have the strategies, I suppose, themselves to deal with that once it went our way. But yeah, they were a rabble, an absolute rabble. I'm going to go through just quickly, guys, the players, because, as I said, there were some outstanding individual performers on the day, and I think across the board it was pretty even. Everyone had some really good moments, and look, they played as a team. There's no doubt they played as a collective unit. The click happened because of the lack of real desire And it's no different to us when when we've been assessing our football team, over the last 8 or so weeks. When the heat went up, I suppose when the game was yeah, we've been really, really critical of our club, really critical of our club, and their inability to find something when it really matters. And that really mattered for the Suns yesterday. It was such an important game for them, just like the 8 or 9 weeks previous was so important for us. Anyway, okay, Sam Doherty, just, 500 metres game, 32 disposals, thought he was good. Playing sort of a wing role at the MCG. Yeah, I thought he was really good, just really solid. I think it's allowing. I'll get to our halfback shortly, but it's allowing some of our lesser knowns to develop across halfback who've got some genuine zip and leg speed. I feel Doc's probably at that point of his career now where he probably doesn't have that real power anymore, but he's still very serviceable. Walsh, I really liked his game, particularly getting out the front, becoming really dangerous. He's not a great kick. He's just not a really great kick of the football. But when he gets to the front of the stoppage and when we get those forward handballs and he's got space in front of him, he's just so much more effective. And he worked his bloody butt off. He's been, I suppose, okay. Without being damaging yesterday, he was very damaging with 506 metres game. Matthew Candy, look, he's going to have to do. That was a good game. I mean, 27 disposals and what he'd kick a goal. It was a good game, but yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it, with the mix now, with Hewitt playing in the VFL against Werribee on the weekend, and how slow we've been in there, and how sort of cumbersome, and just our lack of leg speed, and too many blokes sort of gravitating to the football. What that mix looks like moving forward, and I don't know. Like, it's going to be fascinating to see who comes into the team post the bye, whether Hewitt does come back in, and if it doesn't, and who goes out, what the future is for some of these blokes at the club. Because it does at times feel like we are a little bit top heavy in there. And I don't think that changed yesterday. Just because we dominated clearance yesterday, it's not necessarily, that's what we look like. Obviously, we're a really, really strong clearance team when we're on, but the better clubs in the competition are so much more equipped at stopping that, and they were able to do that in the second half of last season. Adam Chera, he was good again. Arguably our best player, hitting the scoreboard, looks strong, looks really engaged. 27 disposals, used the ball relatively well. Nearly 500 metres game. I love the game of Brady Kemp. I think he's a player. I really do. I think he's a player. And it's not just yesterday's game. I thought he really stood up last week against Essendon late in the game when, he's just got something about him. I think he's got some genuine speed. I don't know whether he's a one-on-one defender as such. He just doesn't have the size. And the matchup with Casbolt was always going to be a problem. And how sustainable that is, playing Wiedering and McGovern and Kemp. I don't mind it because it shows something different. But he's a very good player, Brady Kemp. Very good player, and he's got some speed. He attacks the ball. He gets in the right spots. Generally uses it pretty well. Looks a confident type footballer. I'm not getting too carried away with him, but he's a lot to like about him, and what he could do for us in the future. Whether that is going forward at some stage, start as a defender, then go forward, because I know that's been trolled in the past. But yeah, he's a very good hybrid. Love that word, hybrid player who can play a variety of different roles, smalls and talls, and potentially go up onto a wing at times, or even at a centre bounce or around the ground. He's a class act. I really like him. Nick Newman, solid. I thought he just sort of it gives you that little bit of grunt. Newman in the back half, solid. Same with Sard, solid. Didn't have to do a lot yesterday. Adam Sard playing against his old team, played okay. Thought Cottrell was good. Got the boys going with a couple of sort of early goals in that second quarter. Playing sort of pressure forward in that term, and then saw him up on the wing, and his spread was really important. 18 touches. Akers, still a little bit down. Only 185 metres going from his 17 touches. Certainly dropped off the pace. Blake Akers certainly dropped off the pace since his start to the season. Wiedering, excellent. Had the job on King. Kept him out of the game, other than that really good contested mark to King in the third quarter. But thought Wiedering his intercept possessions were great, and he's finding some good form, and showing some good leadership down there as well. And that's just not yesterday. That's been over the course, I reckon, the last 3 or 4 weeks. Outside of Chera, I think Wiedering has probably been our second best player in that block. McGovern, I just think it's Kemp and McGovern are playing a similar role. I actually didn't mind McGovern's game yesterday. He had Lukosius, and spoke about Lukosius in the preview. Dead-eye dick in front of the goals, but had no impact on the game. And I thought McGovern was, he took some nice grabs, intercept grabs, used the ball really well. All fascinating, these players like McGovern and co, because they're out of contract. Charlie, I thought he had a good battle with Ballard. Did some okay things. I don't think he's on top of his game at the moment. I think he's been probably symbolic of how the team's been going. And we didn't really need him to kick an 8 or 9 or a 6 or 7 bag yesterday. It was actually good to get a variety of goal kickers and share it around a little bit. DeConning was actually pretty good. Another fascinating scenario ahead. Thought he was clearly our best ruckman around the ground. Although Pitnet, I'll get to him shortly, was horrid. But Connie went forward, kicked a couple of goals, which was good. Is that sustainable? Will that give him confidence? Gave great effort around the ground against a really strong and seasoned campaigner in Jarrett Witts. Very, very interesting player, Tom DeConning, and what does the future hold? Got no idea. And I'm not going to get carried away about whether he should be staying or whether he should be going based on the performance against Gold Coast Suns yesterday at the MCG. But it was a pretty good game by Tom. David Cunningham, he just showed some tiny little patches of absolute class. The one-handed pickups off the ground, the side steps, the graceful movements. And then you look at his stats, and he's at 11 touches, and he's gone at 44% disposal efficiency. He coughed one up going inside forward 50. Good to see him out there. It was good to see him out there, and it did look a little bit different, didn't it? We just looked a little bit different. Having someone who's got that, I suppose, that speed and glides across the turf. Just a positive, small little positive. I liked the game of Alex Chincotta. I really did. I liked it. I liked it. And I suppose the biggest takeaway for me out of this game was our unsung heroes in the back half. And I'm talking about Kemp, Chincotta, and I'll get to Boyd. But Chincotta's power. And I look at him, 11 touches as well. But there were just some moments there where I thought, this 26-year-old is, has had some dreadful bad luck over the course of his career and has got his opportunity this year. And I'm thinking he's a bargain pickup who plays a really unique and important role in that run and gun, but also being accountable and wanting to defend and defend hard and giving great effort and intensity. You can sort of can see it in him, but you just also just think, okay, let's just sort of hold back a little bit. But him to me with Kemp and Boyd were like that. To me was the biggest thing I got out of that game was okay. The Gold Coast weren't great, but these guys had I reckon, made a pact to really be aggressive with their run. And I spoke about that. Before the Essendon game. Like I thought, let's get the ball into the hands of the likes of Chincotta and Boyd, and let's get them involved. And they showed yesterday that they're more than capable of doing that. Jordan Boyd the same. I think he's a little bit younger than Chincotta, and has had an interrupted year with that foot injury. But his ability to lock down and, they're going to get beaten by small forwards at stages, but they're good. They're good kids. They've got something about them. Boyd's a good kick, but he's got speed and power. Harry, I just don't think Harry and Charlie are in great form. Yeah. And whether we're delivering the ball to them well enough or whether they're just lacking some confidence at the moment, not quite sure what it is, but they're just not in good form, both of them, although fucking Charlie's winning the Coleman medal, probably on the back of that big haul against the West Coast Eagles. But, but do we need them? I mean, that's the challenge, isn't it? That's probably the blueprint, really, that we're looking for other avenues other than those two. Lockie Fogarty, I just think he gave effort. But another one out of contract at the end of the year, played a lot of AFL footballs, taken forever to get back into the team. And I'm hearing yesterday, we'll play Fogarty instead of Motlop and Dirt. And he's, just take a chill pill. Seriously. He was okay yesterday, and his attitude looked really good, and he brought terrific energy and got on the end of a goal, and good luck to him, but he's picked up 10 disposals, laid 3 tackles. So, same with Owies. I mean, Owies been a regular goal kicker for us this year. But is that his ceiling? Is that Matthew Owies' ceiling? I think it is. And whether that is going to be good enough for us moving forward, I'm not quite sure. But he was okay yesterday, kicked some goals. I mean, that one in the last quarter, that was just putrid by the Gold Coast Suns when Charlie Ballard just sort of fell over himself in the goal square and Matthew Owies kicked that goal off the ground. It was horrible. Horrible. His first quarter was as bad a quarter as I've seen a Carlton player play in such a long, long time. Jack Martin did some nice things forward to centre. And Paddy Dow, he just... I just love him. I just love Paddy Dow. I've been, at times his worst critic in regards to his ball use, but I just fucking love him. I just feel for this kid. I just want him to now. I don't know. I just whatever happens with him, if he leaves the club and goes, so I just want him to succeed. He's just held his head up so high over the last couple of years and just taken everything on the chin and come out and sit on the bench yesterday and then come on in the last quarter and then do what he did, get involved, look invested, actually break away from stoppages and pump the ball inside 50 and pick up 8 disposals. And I just think it's a testament to him, and what sort of person he must be, you know. So well done, Paddy Dow, mate. You should be really fucking proud of yourself. And if I was your old man and your parents, I'd be wrapped, okay, with what you've been able to do this year under really really difficult circumstances to see blokes not performing, but then come in and play 3 games as a sub. 3 games as a sub. And in each game you've come on and you've just, yeah. Anyway, take care, guys. That's 31 minutes of a review. We've got a bye, which will be a nice little break, but I will put some videos up over the next 10 days or so. Speak soon. Go Blue Baggers.